Rollers, we are back for another What Would You Make collaboration. Our two hosts for this month are Brenda from Rustic and Lace DIY, as well as Christine from DIY Crafterholic. And our guest host for this month is Jess from Glue La La. All the information for this playlist will be in my description bar or my description below this video. So once you are done watching my video, go ahead and watch all the other collaborators within the playlist because they have some awesome inspiration for you guys for this month's What Would You Make. All right, so now that we've done all of that, let's go ahead and get started with the video. All right, rollers, for today's video, this is the part that you see me struggling to decide how I'm gonna put this leopard print vinyl on here. I'm sitting here in the living room struggling because I'm like, how am I gonna get this on here and get the alignment right? So this wood that I'm using for this porch leaner is actually a 2x10x8, but the measurement that you're going to be working with is a 1.4 by 9.1 by 8. We should all know at this point that the measurements that you see at the store is not usually the ones that you get. And I stained this with Jacobine from, I think it's Minwax. I could be wrong, but that's the color, Jacobine. So again, this is where you see me trying to figure out how I'm gonna lay this down. So I finally got the ruler to measure, to line up exactly where that line would hit on my stencil. I'm actually using what is this, Cricut Smart Vinyl, because I didn't have anything that I could cut that would be matless, because it was such a big design. And here you see me just dancing around because I finally figured it out. All right, so I'm laying it back down to make sure that everything is straight, exactly where I need it to be. And I mean, yeah, there you have it. All right, so here's the other part of the design. It just simply says, oh, hello. I'm actually showing this to you backwards. It's actually gonna go the other way around, but you'll see this on when we get back to my craft space. And this is how it's going to lay down. Again, this was done using matless vinyl with Cricut. All right, so let's roll into the next video. Like I said, all right, so for this one, we are going to weed everything from the you're gonna do basically a stencil vinyl. So you're gonna weed on the inside. Everything that you normally weed out is what you're going to, no, everything that you normally leave in is what you're gonna weed out. You guys know what I'm trying to say? I can't talk. All right, so this part we're gonna weed out our cheetah print, leopard print. I don't even know what kind of print. It was just print. I did this design. I actually got this design from Sammy from Unicorn Dust Design. She gives SVGs on her channel if you're a member. And this was something that I've been thinking about doing for years. I've just finally got the courage to do it because it seems so hard, guys. So this is pretty much it, just me weeding, and then I'll be cutting off anything extra. So now I've lined up the bottom portion first, and this is the Cricut transfer tape. I thought I needed that specifically because I was using matless vinyl. I haven't used it in a long time. I was like, I don't know which transfer tape should I use, but I'm trying to do the hinge method, and then the transfer tape started curling itself on itself, so I switched over to the other side. And yeah, you guys see what I'm doing here, so I think we're good. All right, we're gonna lay everything down per usual, make sure that we get it down as good as possible, and then we're going to take off this transfer tape. Before we do that, I'm going to lay my paint down where I have exposed wood on that end because I don't want anything painted there. And here I am removing my transfer tape. And this was hard. I am struggling here, seriously struggling on this part. And where you see those bubbles are in the middle, it is not the vinyl that is bubbling. It's actually the wood that's like that. So you guys don't have to worry. It doesn't affect the final part of the design. So tape off everything as usual, and then we'll get to the painting portion. All right, so what you see, I just grabbed, what did I grab? Chalk by Waverly, and I did have to put some water in it. Wetting it down will allow the paint to be more movable and easier to apply to my design. So let's go ahead and peel it back. You don't want to touch your paint when it flakes off. So that's why you always see me brushing it off, because when you touch it with your hands, it's going to activate the paint as if it's wet paint. And theirs was very minimal bleeding. You literally can't even see it. That was just me showing you because I'm picky. But look at that. Those lines look so good. I was actually very impressed because I was stressing about this vinyl not working for this specific purpose. But guys, it did a lot better than I expected. All right, but I did get some paint on the side, so I'm just cleaning it off. And by the time the project is over, you won't even notice that because I think I did a pretty good job with that. All right, so you see the pencil mark, guys. You see my head in the way? My hair is so dirty. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, guys. All right, now we readjusted the tape so that I can make sure that everything on the bottom half is good. All right, so let's grab this transfer tape. Is one from Expressions Vinyl, and it did so much better than the Cricut transfer tape. And I used this because I didn't have any more. I did have more, but I would have used up so much of it, and I had a whole bunch of this sitting around. So I was just like, I might as well just use it up anyway. So I'm going to Frankenstein these pieces together, line them up, make sure that you overlap when you're doing this, your transfer tape. I want to cut off the excess right here and Frankenstein the bottom half. All right. Burnish the top, flip it over, you burnish your bottom portion just to make sure that the vinyl really sticks to the transfer tape. We know this, we do this all the time. All right, we're gonna peel it back, and look how much easier it was for me to peel this one back than when I did the one using the Cricut one. All right, that being said, let's go ahead and use my, what is this, parchment paper. And when you're doing parchment paper method against dark materials, it is hard to see. And at this point, I started realizing that not only was it hard for me to see, my measurements were off. Because again, I was not expecting it to be off, and yeah, just a tad bit. But by the final design, you won't even be able to tell because we figure it out. We just make it work. All right. Peel everything off, squeegee it down. Be careful when with this process. You probably shouldn't be doing this like I'm doing right here. Just do as I say and not as I do. So you see where I have all that excess wood showing, and there's my head in the way showing you not, yeah. You guys know what I'm trying to say. All right, I'm just gonna trim off some tape because I need a lot of tape and I don't want to use, yeah, I don't even know what I'm trying to say. But anyway, tape off all that excess wood that's showing off wood, even though I do get paint on there. I'm sorry, guys. My life was kind of crazy. At this point of the day, I think I was exhausted with crafting. No, not yet. I wasn't. So water your paint. I'm not saying water your paint. Just wet your paint so that you can move it better. I was going to use my foam roller, but at this point, I was like, I needed to look similar to what it does, how it looks at the bottom half. So cheapy brush version we went. Brush it down. Be very light-handed because you don't want your paint to seep under your vinyl. So I'm using very light strokes here. Like when I say very light strokes. Okay. Good. All right, we're going to remove some of our tape because I don't like to remove it when it's fully dry, but semi-dry. So this is where we're going to start seeing like, oh, like, look at this paint. Isn't it gorgeous? I'm making y'all feel like I did something wrong, but no, look at those lines. They're like perfection. And I know you still see the pencil line, but I do erase that before I'm done, before I seal the project in. Isn't it gorgeous. It's like, ooh la la. Anywho, y'all know how I feel about my straight lines. All right, now moving on to our next project. This is an 18-inch birch wood round. It's similar to the one that I did in our last video. I don't know. Was it my patriotic video? That if you haven't seen, I will link it below. So this vinyl that I'm using here, it's my stencil vinyl that I'm always talking about, that I use all the time. So it does look like regular vinyl, but it's actually a stencil vinyl. All right, so this wood, I did stain it just as well with the Jackal bean, because I wanted this to be a matching set. So I cut it, weeded it, and here you're gonna see me try to lay it down, and I realized it also was a little too big. Like, Ro, I just a hair. I should have just made it. Yeah. I thought it was exact because I used the image, the guide. I don't know how. Yeah, I don't know, guys. Anywho, I'm gonna lay it down. Make sure it goes down as smooth as possible, and then we're going to, rinse, repeat. It's basically all we're doing at this point. So we're gonna lay our paint down. Our painter's tape, actually, because I don't want any paint on the top areas of this. And I did lay paint tape down at the bottom, and then I took it off. I made a major boo-boo, and you guys are gonna see I do fix it. Okay, so I went back to my foam roller because I find using it for projects like these, it's a lot easier. When you use your foam roller brush, again, you're barely rolling it on there. No pressure, because if you do, you're going to get bleeds. So just brush it on there with a light touch and nothing else. So I grabbed my, what is this, my hair dryer from eons ago, and only because it has a cool setting, because if I use a hot setting, for me, it cracks my paint. So I find that using a cool setting works. I do 2 coats of this. This is where I removed the bottom tape, and I realized that later on that wasn't a good idea. So we're gonna do the same thing, paint it on, and then we're going to heat set on cool. And I, at this point, was like, I was tired of crafting. I've been crafting all day. So that's what, yeah. And this wood is not kind to me. So I had a lot of issues with this wood round. Because when I go to seal it, the paint started bleeding. Because with this wood round, you're going to realize, well, you're not going to see it in this video, but everything sits on top of it. I don't know if it's this type of birch wood or whatever it is. Anyway, moving forward. So I am peeling the centers. These do have centers. Again, make sure that you have a very sharp tool when you do this, because you don't want to gouge your wood. All right. So you see that line at the bottom? I am going to fix that. That is where I should have left the painter's tape at the bottom. And I'm going to grab my roller, and we are going to make it look like it was intentional. Voila, problem solved. There we go. And then I messed up right there, but we're going to fix that, and you probably won't even notice. From a distance, you won't notice. You probably wouldn't have noticed until I told you that, right? All right. Next step, the Oh Hello is the exact same one that we use on the porch leaner. It's just a smaller format. We're going to lay that down. Same process. Like I said, wash, rinse, repeat, peel everything back, and we're going to lay it on our wood round. So I'm trying to figure out, do I want it slanted? Do I want it straight? And of course, I still ended up putting it slightly lopsided. Yeah, I don't know how that happened, guys. And I go to peel this back. And do you guys ever get to a point where you're crafting and you're like, this is me. What was I doing again? Why does this look weird? Why do I have all these vinyl? This was me. And I'm like, and then it dawned on me, girl, you're losing your mind. Just peel this transfer tape back. This is literally what happened to me. And so that's when I realized, yeah, I probably should have stopped at this point. and just left it alone, but I kept on trucking it because yeah, we need it to be done. So you're gonna again tape off all the areas that you don't want any paint to seep into. Just paint block basically is what we're doing. And then we're going to grab our foam roller again and then wet the paint as usual and just roll it. I think I did two. I did two coats of this just as well. And I did use my hair dryer again on my cool setting in between coats. All right, so we're gonna remove everything, and we're gonna see those lines when they reveal themselves. Oh my gosh, guys, I really love the reveal. It's like, look at that, look at that. I love when there's no bleeds and everything comes out so nice. This is where I was like, girl, you better grab another weeding tool because you're messing up your wood. So yeah, just take out all the middles, and then after this, I basically took my project and I did 3 coats of spar urethane, front, back, and sides on both of my wood projects, so that since they're going to be outside for the protection. Whew, that was a lengthy process. Let's talk about the bows. So I am not a bow maker. I've said that a million times, and the best bows that I can make, in my opinion, are messy bows. So there's no rhyme or reason to messy bows. I cut these into, I want to say 12 inches long. It's going to cut all your strips that you want, however many those are, right? And after that, I don't know what I did after that. Just make sure you cut all your bows first. Not your bows. I meant your ribbons. Y'all know what I'm trying to say. Oh my gosh. All right, so next I wanted to dovetail. Okay, my dovetailing, I think this is correct. You fold it down the middle, and then you're going to cut into a V going away from you. Okay, in my opinion, you're supposed to fold it pretty sides together. If the ribbon has 2 sides, pretty sides together, fold them together. I was messing with this. I was like, this is uneven. Okay, we're going to do this again. Now, I could be wrong. There's plenty of tutorials for this. Pretty sides go together, right? And then you cut in a V shape away from you. All right, there you go. Yay, I said it. All right, so that's gonna be, we're gonna do that with all the strips of ribbon that I cut. Actually, I didn't dovetail the one that looks like a nest over there on top of the wood round, because that's the only one I didn't want dovetailed. I just thought it looked perfectly without the dovetail. All right, so now this is where you stack everything on top of each other in whatever order that looks good to your eye. I was struggling on here because I feel like because I was recording, I was having a harder time to figure out what I was supposed to be doing. I had just did a messy bow for somebody else, and I had no issues with it. I did it in a blink of an eye, but since I was recording for you guys, I was struggling. Your girl was struggling. So just stack them up. There's many different ways that you can do this. If you want a more professional version of a tutorial for this, just Google messy bows. I just call these rose messy bows because I just go whatever order makes my eye happy. Just make sure that you leave something like a center based on like a middle piece. I guess that makes sense. You'll see here where I realized that I didn't have anything centered. So when I go to scrunch it there, you see me adjusting it, and that's going to make it look a lot better. It'll be easier when you do your when you put your whatever you use to cinch everything together. And there's my final. See, there you go. I had to make sure that I cinch it, and I'm making sure that everything looks okay. But I realized as well that the ribbon is too long, which is okay. I use a zip tie because I find that it's easier for me to cinch, especially if you have a lot of strips of ribbon together. You can use whatever makes you happy, and that'll be that. So I'm making sure everything's centered, cinch it as tight as possible, and that's the other reason why I use a zip tie. All right, so then we're going to eventually fluff it up while I did that, and then we're just gonna cut everything up, at least the zip tie. Just make sure that you don't cut your ribbon. Now, this is where I am going to trim the ribbons down that are too long. And you can probably just ask me, why did I bother to dovetail it? It just helps me with my eye to make sure that everything looks good ahead of time. And so what you can do, whatever method works for you. For this recording, I realized that I showed you, I'm going to show you how I did the centerpiece after I staple this on, but I will walk you through that here in a little bit. All right, I use a staple gun for this, and the staples are right there on the side. I will show you the size in a minute. They're 1/4 inch, and they're the perfect size for this particular wood round. Like I said, the staples work best for me. Just they sit better on these type of wood rounds and these type of bows. So we're just going to staple everything down, make sure that I like where everything sits, and that's pretty much it for how I lay down my bow. Isn't she kind of cute? I actually think I did a really good job on this for somebody who hasn't done one in a long time. All right, so now let's grab our, you guys see me use this. It's from the Dollar Tree. It's a wire jute twine, and I'm just measuring to make sure that what length I want to cut this off. This thing lasts you for quite a while, but it's just my preference to use this one. It can hold quite a significant amount of weight. So again, see there's no staples on the back of that round. Perfect, right? So I'm just going to use this again to put this on. You can of course use hot glue, whichever one is your preference. It really doesn't matter. It's just, like I said, whatever makes your heart happy. All right, so let me show you how I did the center to cover that what is this called again? Zip tie. So I grabbed about 5.5 inches of ribbon, and then I'm just folding it lengthwise, 3 folds, if that makes sense. You guys just saw what I did. I'm not that good at explaining it. Okay, once that's folded how I want it to be folded, I'm going to grab my torture device called the hot glue gun. You guys know how I feel about that. And then we are going to hot glue those center folds together. Okay, so now that that's done, we're just going to put this right there in the center, because again, we're going to cover the zip tie. That is all we're going to do with that. You're going to use a copious amount of hot glue because you want this to be fully secure, but you want it to cover that zip tie. It does a function, but you don't want it to show. So cover that down, push it down, make sure that it's fully secured. And then of course, we will be cutting off all that excess because we don't need it. All right, so I hope that helps in showing you how I did this bow. I'm not that good with them, but I think I did a pretty good job with this. And that will be pretty much the end, and I will show you guys how it looks on my front. Don't mind my porch because we haven't done anything to the porch this summer, but I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Look at that leaner. Isn't she pretty? And the wood round on the door, I think she looks fabulous. All right, that is it for today's video. Again, don't forget to take a look at the rest of the people in the playlist, because again, like I said, they are some fantastic creators and they will have so much inspiration for you guys in today's playlist. All right, rollers, I'll see you guys next time. Bye.